Rebels, today is a milestone for the Rebellion Brewing podcast. It's our 52nd episode. It represents the season 1 finale of the show. Whether this is your first time listening or you drop in from time to time, I want to say thank you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to spend it with us on the Rebellion podcast. When I pitched the concept of the podcast a year ago, I was given a lot of freedom to choose the direction and the tone and the feel of the show. We knew we wanted to talk about beer, and we knew we wanted to talk with local people who had interesting stories to tell. From the beginning, I wanted listeners to come away from the show knowing a little bit more about craft beer, how it's made, some of the personalities behind the scenes, and hopefully you'd be able to find 1 or 2 new beers to discover and fall in love with. In short, I wanted you to become as excited about craft beer as I am. I wanted to share my passion with you. With all that said, my promise to you as a listener is to never waste your time. Every time you click play, I want you to come away feeling richer for having done so. So next season, you're going to see some changes to the show. We're experimenting with some new music, sound effects, and who knows, maybe we'll get to the point where this thing becomes an interactive live video stream where you can submit questions to the guests in real time and vote for the beers we drink each week. Or maybe you're drinking the beer with us and sending us your thoughts in the live chat. We're trying to get this podcast to grow, but we want it to be organic and authentic. We'll never pay for clicks and we'll never buy subscribers to pad our numbers. We don't run sponsored ads and we'll never solicit you for donations. And we're never going to put the podcast behind a paywall. So with all that, I just want to ask you one simple thing. Tell one friend about the show. Just one person you think would enjoy it. That's it, just one person. Word of mouth. Tell them you think this podcast will be worth their time. Thanks. This summer promises to be a busy tourism and craft beer scene. At Rebellion, we see ourselves as ambassadors for the province. We see tons of visitors from out of town every day, and we get to tell people all about the exciting stuff going on in our province and our city, especially when it comes to craft beer and food. The thing is, we can't tell our story alone. We're just one part of the puzzle, just one piece. One of the most important agencies that is helping us tell our story is Tourism Saskatchewan. They bring together writers, photographers, journalists, small and large businesses. They're one of the groups of people who help make all this happen from a tourism perspective. And one of those people is joining me today. Her name is Jodi Holliday. You may have seen Jodi in the tap room from time to time. She's kind of hard to miss. She always has a big smile and this really warm aura of authenticity. Jodi and her husband Lowell are 2 of my favorite people to see walk through the doors. They have this really great energy and vibe that I always look forward to seeing them come in and hopefully sit down and have a beer with me. Jodi, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Wow, what a lovely introduction.
Well, I want people to understand who you are a little bit.
Well, yeah, I like to drink beer, evidently, if we've learned one thing.
I was thinking about calling you guys OG Rebels.
Yeah, we've been there from the start. We were at the first tasting when that tap room and brewery was just like an open, empty, dirty space. And we got to vote on some of the recipes, and we've been drinking Mark's beer for years before that. So, yeah. Full disclosure, Lowell is best friends with Mark. So.
And he's one of the members of Heavenly Bodies.
He is one of the Heavenly Bodies.
Mark's band.
Yes.
Or Mark and Lowell's band.
Yes. Mark and Lowell have been playing together in bands for over 20 years, I think. So, yeah.
So you've known Mark?
Since I've known Lowell. I think like a month after we started dating, I met Mark and Joanne, and yeah, been fast friends ever since. Love that Joanne too, so.
Oh man. Every time I talk to Joanne, she just slides little non sequiturs past me.
I know, she makes me laugh a lot. Yeah.
She kills it. like my stomach hurts.
Yeah.
When I'm done talking to her, I'm like, oh man, you've been killing me.
Exactly. They're another awesome couple.
But she's very subtle about it.
Oh yeah,
If you're
super
not
dry. Yeah, you have to pay attention to that one.
So how's it going with Tourism Saskatchewan?
It's going great. We've had a lot of transition in the last couple of years, just with switching to digital first and always on and all of that stuff. So it's a lot. We're in the future now, I think, and so we're pretty excited to be getting geared up for the big season. Saskatchewan just really shines in the summer. There's other great seasons as well, but the summer is really, the easiest part of living in Saskatchewan.
And what does that mean? Like people are hunting and fishing, or?
Yeah, people are just outdoors. I mean, that's the one thing about our summers is they are hot, they're sunny, and it's just you got to get outside. There's no sense staying inside after being inside for a number of months, right? So
Go a little stir crazy.
yeah.
What does it mean when you say we're now into the future? Like digital? Like you're doing
Yep.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram?
Yeah, and we have been for a number of years, but I think we're just, upping our game every year and keeping pace with what's going on out there. I don't know enough about that stuff, so I should stop talking about it. So,
from a tourism perspective, how is craft beer plugged in?
Oh, well, so I work directly with travel writers, influencers, and everyone has to eat and drink. So why wouldn't they want to eat and drink something delicious, right? Rebellion is a great place. It's such an easy place for me to promote because it's got a great story, like be a rebel, drink great beer. They have you guys have a lot of fun with what you're doing. Everyone I meet that works at Rebellion is very passionate about what they do, and that's easy to sell. That's easy to show off. That's easy for me to work with. I can usually just bring a bunch of writers into Rebellion and let Mark loose on them, or let Dave talk to them about beer, or Paul has helped out too. And for Greasy Salesman, he knows how to talk to people. So it's great. It's a great place for me to show off what one of the best things about Saskatchewan is. So.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Yeah, and it doesn't help, or it doesn't hurt that you have something like a lentil beer. I mean, that gives it, an extra story. I mean, we're, the world's largest exporter of pulse crops in the world. Oh, I said the world, sorry.
That's okay. Well,
Delete.
Now I'm going to make you drink some beer.
Okay.
And make you mess up more words.
Yay.
Cheers.
Cheers. Juicy.
This is the Rebellion Mango Sour.
It is indeed.
5.2% ABV.
Mm-hmm. That is a mouthful.
I think it's changed since last week.
I think it has too. I mean, I did try it last week. But it has, yeah, and you mentioned earlier that it's a little hazier because it was poured first today, but it tastes like a smoothie, like a boozy smoothie. Like it feels like it's like a health drink. It feels like it's packed with vitamins.
Yeah, super pulpy, juicy,
Yeah.
kind of creamy.
Yeah.
Even, and I didn't taste that the first time I had this.
I'm loving it. And just with that nice sour edge to it.
Yeah, it's not super aggressive. It's nicely balanced.
Mm-hmm.
A little tart, but not so aggressive that I can't take another sip. I want to take another sip.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because I just had it last Thursday and I didn't really recall the taste of it, mostly because I had 3 different beer when I was there. So, when you have not a lot of beer, but, different types, and the one that stuck out was the strawberry IPA, which I didn't think I was going to like at all, but this will be, as long as this is in the tap room, this is my go-to now. Because I like a sour. I'll drink all of it.
Have you had all the other sours? We've done about 5 so far.
I think so. What were some of the other ones?
Oh, we're doing stone fruit sours all summer long.
Ooh,
Yeah.
That makes me so happy. Yay, because Lowell always has a keg of IPA on at home, and I haven't gotten there yet. I hope to be a hophead someday, but not today.
You're still on the craft beer journey to IPA?
Yeah, well, and it's funny, when I first met Lowell, he couldn't even handle anything that had a waft of hops about it. So for him to turn into like the biggest hophead is encouraging, I guess I'll say, because maybe someday I'll be able to have some of the keg that we have on tap at home.
You asked about the other stone ones we did?
Yes.
We've had cherries.
Yes.
And peaches.
Oh, I remember the peach sour.
Apricot.
Was there ginger? No, I'm making that up. I'm thinking of the carrot ginger.
We had a peach ginger.
Oh, maybe that's what I was thinking, yeah.
But I don't know if, there were a couple versions. So there was like a peach ginger sour.
Yeah.
There's been a few.
Yeah.
We're iterating them all along through the summer as the fruit comes available.
Yeah. Well, and they're not too boozy, so it's a good summer drink, right?
Yeah, it's only 5.2%, so you're not going to get trashed off one.
Yeah. Like my favorite beer that has ever been made at Rebellion was a Belgian quad. And that we actually did buy a keg of and had it at home, and that was a bad decision. It was just too delicious, but super high in alcohol. So, and then I love the prairie cherry mead, of course. So this one's a little less dangerous.
You would not be exceptional in loving the quad. I get asked probably at least once a month, when is it coming back? And I'm like, I don't think we have plans. No current plans.
It has to be in the barrels for a really long time, right? So that takes up a lot of room. But
I think all our barrels have converted over to sour and Brett now.
Oh, okay, yeah. But if anyone ever wanted to make me some, I would drink it.
Never say never. I think
Yeah,
once we finish the expansion, we're going to be expanding back into more barrels.
that'd be awesome.
I think it's difficult enough and weird and extreme enough that Mark just wants to get back into it.
Absolutely.
And Dave definitely will want to rise to the challenge. Mm-hmm. Like, he doesn't want to sit on his heels and just say, okay, this is good enough. He's a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll be drinking a beer alongside him, and he'll ask me what I think, and I'll be like, oh, this is great. And he's like, well, I can always tweak this or change that. He's never satisfied.
That's who you want, though, right? That's who you want making beer, someone that always is going to make it better.
He never can take a compliment, We're
It's true.
like, dude, this is a great beer. And he's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I could fix it. I can make it better.
He can taste and smell what I can't.
Yeah. Well, I think he probably has a very heightened palate at this point, so.
Do you have a favorite craft beer tourism story? Like, one time I heard about some guys from China, heard about lentil beer, flew all the way around the world, came, had it, flew all the way back.
I heard about that. That's crazy. I don't know. I just like bringing travel writers in to the tap house or to the tap room, and just kind of letting them loose. Last fall, I brought in a woman doing a TV show called Seeing Canada, Brandy Yanchik, and she did a whole bit with Dave making prairie cherry mead, and that was really fun because we spent like a good day and a half at the brewery and got to kind of get our hands dirty, so that was fun.
It looks like a murder scene when you're covered in cherries.
Oh my gosh, it does, and she was wearing like a bright yellow apron, so it was just, extra murdery.
We have a couple pictures of Landon laying on the ground and covered in cherry juice with a knife.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's awesome. Yeah. It's a good cherry mead.
So what big projects can people expect out of Tourism Saskatchewan this summer? Like, what's coming up next for you guys?
This summer, so far, I have a couple of big trips planned. We have two international overseas markets, Germany and the UK. And so we kind of flip-flop back and forth from year to year of who we bring in. This year, it's the year of the Germans. So they're always fun. They always like beer. So I'll definitely be bringing them by Rebellion. Or actually, no, I won't. I'll be taking them up north. So I'll take Rebellion beer with me. We're going up north to Missinippi and La Ronge area. We'll be doing some paddling and probably take a float plane ride by Stanley Mission and Nestoyac Falls. If you live in Saskatchewan and have never been up north, I am telling you, you need to go up there. The first time I went up there, it was unreal. I've lived in Saskatchewan pretty much my whole life. I was born and raised here, and the first time I went north, I just had no idea where I was. It didn't look like Saskatchewan, certainly didn't look like, the South, Regina, the flat part. It is all rocks and water and trees, and it's beautiful. Some of the best fishing up there. We're going to do some canoeing. We're going to do some hiking, some fishing. Hopefully have a delicious shore lunch with some Rebellion beer.
Shameless plug.
I know. Terrible. So yeah, it's going to be a great one. That one will start off in Saskatoon, so we will end up going to Wanaskewin as well. If you've never been to Wanaskewin, that is another great place to go. It's been a meeting place for Indigenous people for over 6,000 years. It is one of my favorite places in Saskatchewan. I like to go there. I like to go there off season. In the summer, you get a lot of kids there, and so it's a little crazy or busy, but I like it in the fall because it's nice and quiet, and it's just, you can tell why people have been going there. It's just so peaceful. It's amazing. It's on the short list to be a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is huge. Saskatchewan doesn't have one, so if they got through with that, that would be our only one. There's 2 bison jumps there. It's like the northernmost medicine wheel that they've found. It's beautiful. I love it.
You said this year is going to be the year of Germany. I was reading an article, maybe you can confirm this, but they are like obsessed with First Nations culture, First Nations everything.
Yes. So it took me a few years to kind of figure this out, but all like kids in Germany grew up reading a particular book, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was all about a First Nations person and their interactions with the European settlers and whatnot, and it was very popular in Germany. It would be maybe akin to the Hardy Boys or to Nancy Drew or something. Like everyone of a certain generation seemed to read them. So they're super obsessed with it. They also really like the wide open spaces that we have here. I mean, if you think about it, there's like 60 million people in Germany, and it's the size of, I don't know what, it's very small. And so when they come here and there's only 1.1 million people in the whole province, you can go for days, especially up north, you can go for days without seeing anyone else. Like you can really get away and get lost and unplug and unwind. And
you think that appeals to Germans?
Absolutely.
The German tourist?
Yeah. And we always talk about it, saying that if you're anywhere like just in the middle of nowhere and someone comes out of the bush or something like that, it's a German. Because they're doing something off the beaten path and crazy, and that's where you'll find them. So
I heard they also like cosplay, and they'll go full on like I'm in the bush with no technology trying to like scrape out kindling, make some fire. Like,
yeah, maybe. I wouldn't advise that in some places in Saskatchewan because you could get into real trouble, right? I mean, you should always be safe first, I think.
Some guy comes out of the bush in a
Yeah,
loincloth.
Exactly. That might be a bit over the edge. But the other big trip I have this year is we have a marketplace called Go Media every year, and that's where I go and meet new travel writers, international ones as well as Canada and the US. And we always do a pre or post tour around that. So we're doing a pre-tour this year, and we're going down to Grasslands for 5 days. 4 nights, 5 days. And I'm so excited about it because before I wasn't ever able to take media over there or down there overnight because there wasn't any place to stay, and I'm not going to, haul down camping gear and stuff like that. So they have the Authentics, which are kind of self-contained prospector tents, for lack of a better description. And you can also rent sleeping bags and pillows. So it's kind of nice that I can just take people down there. And it's also good for new Canadians if they want to try out camping and not commit to buying all of the gear. You can also stay in teepees overnight there. So it's I did a trip there this past year and stayed there for 3 nights, and it was just unbelievable. It is so beautiful down there. It's the darkest dark sky preserve in Canada. There's particularly in the West Block, there are a lot of endangered species. You can see bison all over the place, and the prairie dogs, and black-footed ferrets and yellow-belly racers and the burrowing owls. Like, it's amazing. It's so beautiful. And the sunsets there are to die for. You just can't beat them. Like, it's just amazing.
Deadly.
Yeah. I love my job. Can you tell?
Here's one that might get you in trouble.
Oh.
Who is your favorite tourist? Like, whether it's country or type of traveler. When you work with tourists, who's your favorite?
Well, I don't directly deal with tourists, but I would say I just like someone who's willing to do anything. When I have travel writers that are ready to, like, for any adventure, up for anything, flexible, because sometimes our weather makes the change when I don't want to, but you have to be flexible, and you have to want to try new things. So I guess that's what I look for. I mean, that's the kind of traveler I am. I like to try new things and eat new things. And I'm going to Mexico next week, and I hope to eat some cricket tacos. And I think Mark mentioned some tongue tacos, so I might try those. Yeah.
You're going to love them.
We'll see. I don't know if Lowell's into it, but...
If you see cabeza on the menu, that means brain.
Okay.
Cow brain.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had beef marrow tacos, bone marrow, last year. So,
where are you going in Mexico?
Puerto Vallarta.
Oh, okay, that's easy peasy.
Yeah.
Are you going to go off the beaten path, or are you just going to stay on the resort the whole time?
Oh, we don't stay in a resort. I think the first time we went, we stayed in a resort, and I was bored to tears. I'm like, what is going on here? So we are actually staying at an Airbnb with a bunch of friends. It's my friend's 50th birthday, so it should be a pretty good party. The other good thing about my job is that I'm friends with a lot of travel writers. So anytime I'm going anywhere, I just post on Facebook and say, hey, what should I try here? Where should I go? So I have a giant list, like a list far too long for the week that I'm going to be there. So it's nice because they've been all over. And that's the other nice thing about working with travel writers is that they're storytellers. So hanging out with them, so much fun. And I get to tell them about my story, about Saskatchewan's story, and all the amazing things to do here. So,
not tourism related, but I've always wanted to ask you, roller derby.
Yes.
How did you come up with the idea for the horns?
Well, my name was Diablo.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was Diablo. My number was 666. I had cherry red hair, and I needed some horns on my helmet. I also had a mouth guard with fangs on it, so I just went, full on.
How did you get involved with roller derby?
Just a friend of mine I ran into, and she was a tiny little gal, and she said, oh, we're going to need you. So I talked to Lowell about it. Lowell had seen roller derby in Texas, in Austin, and right after we got married, he bought me all the gear that I needed and said, have at her. So I did that for 6 or 7 years. But I just got too busy and got this job that I'm doing now where I'm really busy in the summer. And unfortunately, that doesn't work well with the schedule. So, yeah.
So what was your job? Were you like super, super fast?
No.
Were you like taking people out of the hips? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I was a big Betty blocker.
Is that what they call them?
Well, I just called them. Yeah, like we were like Big Berthas, or I was I hit a lot of people.
We had derby up on the TVs for a while, so we were kind of getting to know the players and the teams from the ones that we were watching.
Yeah.
You'd see them just lay the other out, like the other
Yes.
team. I'm surprised they didn't get into brawls.
Oh, it was, definitely tense on the track. But the second that the bouts were over, everyone would be friends and, after party, it's, everyone's having fun. It's just leave it on the track.
Closer to like rugby?
Yeah, I guess so.
No
I've never
brawls at
played rugby, but
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
They're violent. Like, they're savages.
Yeah, you're getting out all of your aggression on the track. So, and, it's funny because there was, from time to time, refs that I didn't like. Not my husband. My husband was a great ref. But other refs. And I would just hit players into the refs. And one of them said to my husband once, if I didn't know better, I would think Diablo was doing this on purpose. And Lola might had to kind of stop himself from laughing because, of course, I was doing it on purpose. Anyway.
Take that, referees. Watch out for Diablo. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show today.
That's it?
Yeah, unless Did I miss something?
I don't know. I feel like maybe we missed something. Did I talk about Saskatchewan enough?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Did you want to finish off the growler?
Yeah.
It's really good.
It is really good. You want some more?
You go first.
All right. Well, if I go first, there won't be any left. Here, I'll save you some.
To our 52nd episode.
I can't believe it's been a year already.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Rebels, thank you for tuning in this week. If you want to find the latest news about Rebellion Brewing, be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Untapped. Thank you for joining the Rebellion.